Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for another match of the URC. This one, the Bulls going head-to-head with Munster. What should be a very entertaining game. We didn't see Munster turn up last week in their game up against the Sharks. The Bulls, they had a great victory over Cardiff, but different looking sides compared to what we saw in the last round. But in a very intriguing matchup here for the URC. Competition looking through at the table and the way that it sits. The Glasgow Warriors, after getting themselves the victory yesterday, they move a little bit further into first place with 55 points in total. Leinster and the Stormers right on their heels with 46, including a game in hand for the Stormers. They will be going head-to-head up against Edinburgh a little bit later on today. But Ulster, they are sitting comfortably in fourth, Cardiff in fifth, and then Munster are there. 39 points. With a win here, they would move into the top four just for now. With a loss here and a Bulls victory, the Bulls can move as high as sixth into Munster's spot. So a lot can change in the very near future for the URC. Looking through at the games that we have seen thus far in this contest or in this round, we saw the Sharks get themselves that victory over Cardiff, 21 points to 15. Glasgow with the win over Benetton, 31-10. And then Leinster beating the Scarlets, 36-19. So the only side that didn't get a winning bonus point at this stage of the contest was the side that probably debatably needed it the most, and that is the Sharks. But not able to receive one, and now the opportunity for the Bulls to create a little bit more separation between the top eight and the rest of the bunch. Looking through at the starting lineups, it is Gerhard Stenekamp as the number one, Johan Grobelaar at 2, and Francois Klopper starting in at 3. Ruan Vermaak and Ruan Nokia. The Ruans have been going very nicely for the Bulls as of late. Marcel Kutsia, the captain, at 6. Elric Lowe, 7, and Nassim Carr as their number 8. Now an exciting option off of the bench in this game being Cameron Honeycomb. We saw his return last week. Now looking to continue, get some more minutes under the belt for this contest as well. And Bros Papier alongside Andre Pollard as that 9 and 10 combination. The battle of Pollard versus Crowley for this matchup. Kutli Arendse out on the left wing. In the midfield, Harold Foster alongside Stedman Hans. And then Kanan Moody out on the right. The experienced veteran and Willie LaRue returning to number 15 for the starting lineup of Munster. It is Michael Milne in the front row alongside Barron and Alatoa as the 3. Jean Klein and Wickerley in the locking duo with Thomas Ahern, Alex Kendallin and Brian Gleeson as that number 8. Normally, you would see it Gavin Coombs in that starting lineup, but instead he is going to be making his way off the bench alongside a Dogbo as well, who recently got himself that big Irish opportunity. Craig Casey and Jack Crowley as the 9 and 10 combination. Sean O'Brien, he is out on the left wing with Alex Nankerville and Dan Kelly in the midfield. Calvin Nash and Ben O'Connor close out the starting side. But in the chat, we have got the IPL starting in a few hours. It certainly is taking place at a couple hours' time for the first competition. And we have got there as well, let's go the Bulls. Says Haino, which Bulls side pitching today. Says Sakabula. Well, the thing is, the Bulls in their last matchup, they did very nicely, and we are going to actually show the most recent fixtures for these two sides. The Bulls getting themselves the big win over Cardiff, 40 points to 7. They were defeated by the Stormers in that week prior, 32-19, but then winning their game up against the Sharks 2 weeks before that, 41 points to 12. Munster had a good win over Zebra. That was in the early stages when there were no Irish players, or at least the internationals, in the mix for Munster. Losing that game, though, last week up against the Sharks, 45-0. It took quite the hit to that points differential. And you just get that feeling like this is the big make-or-break game for Munster's overall season. A lot of sides do struggle when they head to South Africa. They don't come off with victories too often. And currently it is 0 from 4 with the way that it does currently sit. So, of course, still more that has to happen for Munster here, alongside a few of the other sides taken to the South African field. Looking through at the upcoming round of the URC as well while we are at it. Matches taking place in around 21 days' time. Now, the reason for such a long layoff is there is Champions and there is Challenge Cup. And that is happening around the corner. For the Bulls, they have got their game up against the Glasgow Warriors next week. Round of 16, you've got a one-off game. Winner takes all, moving on to the quarterfinals. For this Munster side, they are also in the round of 16 of the Champions Cup. So another one to keep an eye out for. And the overall comp, we have got there Bulls 35, Munster 19. Says Yako there. And Coombs and a Dogbo versus Honeycomb and Visa. Says Haino there. And also, how was your reaction when New Zealand won the ICC T20 Women World Cup 2024? I know it was not men's, but you must have been happy, says Pipswalk. Probably, I think it was in Australia at the time that one took place. Not a strong pack of forwards, and that starting 15, but Coombs and Adogbo will be big, says Hayno. Yeah, it's the impact off the bench that Munster will really be looking for in this contest. They know how dangerous this Bulls side can be, definitely at home, at Loftus. You have to start a match well, but not only do you have to start it well, you have to finish it well also. And that's something that's quite difficult to do with that altitude, something that some of these sides definitely are not used to. It should be a great one. This match, nonetheless, I do see 93% of the votes have gone to the Bulls in this game. 2% for the draw, 5% chance for Munster. So they are given only a very thin sniff at being able to get themselves the victory. Imagine the Bulls beat Glasgow and the Stormers beat Toulon. Then the Bulls have to travel to Glasgow and then back to South Africa for the Stormers and then to the Dragons. Says, hey, no, it would involve a lot of travel just around the corner, of course. The Cheetahs is also playing now. Says Yako there. I know there's also a Bulls 15 game taking place somewhere up against maybe the Lions 15 too. Munster was based in Cape Town this week. They came to Pretoria yesterday. Says Hayno. So yeah, they won't really be prepared for these type of conditions. I assume that we're also going to get the 20 minutes into the half break that we did see in the other contest yesterday. Cheetahs 24 to Eastern Provinces 5. Quite too much URC we got, says Pep Swok. I mean, each and every round of the URC, you get to see all these 16 sides in action. It's going to be 8 games coming up in 21 days' time. 8 games throughout this weekend. We've already seen the 3 matches that have already happened. We've talked about that bench of Munster a little bit, but we do need to mention once more a few of those players off the bench for the Bulls. Zach Berger, he's been doing extremely nicely for this Bulls side. Cameron Honeycomb, he can avoid injury throughout the rest of this URC. He is definitely going to find himself in the mix for the South African tour with New Zealand. And then also, even just someone like a Chiswell Euster can be extremely handy. Do you still remember my joke? Says Peps Wox. Probably not, no. And Munster was based in Cape Town this week. And also, we've got the Australia similar to Real Madrid, their cricket team, says Pep Swok. And there as well, but looking through at the most previous round of the URC, this is where we did see the South African sides do extremely nicely up against their opposition. 40 points to 7, the win for the Bulls. Lions, they were able to get themselves the victory, 54 points to 17. Sharks winning at 45-0, and then the Stormers, they actually had the closest game out of all of the South African sides. That was up against the Dragons, an opposition that not many expected to do that well, but they actually did. They kept that game much closer than anticipated. Gave it a little bit of a last-minute thriller type of feel to the overall contest. We've already seen a bit more of the one-sided one in the earlier stage, or at least it felt like it should have been. Sharks versus Cardiff. There was only a little bit of a narrow margin splitting the teams in the end, but it just seemed like the Sharks weren't going aggressive enough. I wish the Cheetahs would join Super Rugby, says Clint D. I mean, if they were willing to be based out of either Australia or New Zealand, then I think maybe there is a chance in the future, but I don't think they'll go back to having sides travel to South Africa for the matches. So it would be a bit similar to what we see for the Cheetahs in the Challenge Cup, how they're based out of Europe for that competition. The joke is about head, says Petswalk, and also I'm back, that annoying Glasgow fan. If the Stormers lose, Glasgow in prime position to host the final, says Kahu, and of course still to play in this URC competition. We will get to see that head-to-head between Glasgow and the Stormers. Now that one will be taking place in South Africa, so a big bonus for the Stormers side. Of course, the job is not done yet. They still have their game around the corner up against Edinburgh, a side that did struggle in a recent fixture. That was their game up against the Lions, who are still considered as the side out of South Africa who are struggling that little bit. But then at the same time, they're in the top 8. The way that it currently sits, the Sharks, they are a side that really need every single point available to them. They took the 4 in their game up against Cardiff. Cardiff find themselves now in 5th, with the opportunity of either Munster or the Bulls almost going above them in this scenario. Munster, of course, would. The Bulls would be just their 1 point short. And at Loftus, the crowd is not as full as I would have loved to see for this game up against Munster. This is what I would consider one of the bigger matches that you can see in the URC. These two sides have been strong in the past. We've seen them in finals, but up against each other. Seems like the crowd haven't quite got there, but the ones who are there, they are going to be spoilt for what will be an absolutely brilliant contest between the two sides. A lot closer than the game that we did see last week. Yeah, why aren't cheaters in the URC? It's just down to the fact that there's too many South African sides already. It's based off those divisions or those groupings. So you've got the Scottish and Italian grouping. You've got the Welsh. You've got the Irish, and then you've got the South Africans. So the provinces type of situation. But there is the South African, or sorry, not the South African, the Welsh side leaving the URC next season. So maybe that opens up the door for someone else to be able to join. Bulls hit, says Jason. I'm visiting a buddy. We'll keep an eye on it. And afternoon, Hamish, says Ruth. Welcome in and come on the Bulls, says Sakabula. And Glasgow, I'm pretty sure I haven't lost to the Stormers. I think they are undefeated, says Kahu. Yeah, to lose the game coming up, to lose the home final opportunity would be the absolute worst time for them to have it. Holly Davison as the ref. I think that is good, says Haino. Currently only about 4 minutes away from the kickoff in this contest. Plenty more action happening for the URC this day. Connacht versus Ospreys around the corner. That is overlapping with Lions versus Dragons. Stormers playing Edinburgh. Zebra going up against Ulster and Edinburgh. Of course, they have to wait that little bit longer to face their South African side. We're going to see some really physical outings. Looking forward to this game. Have you caught up on some sleep, Hamish? None at all whatsoever. At this point in time, I believe what we are going to be doing is we have got someone filling in for me on the Lions versus Dragons stream. And during that one, that is when I'm going to be getting just a little bit of sleep, seeing as I have got a memorial golf family event today. It has taken place in around, I think, probably 10 hours' time is when the kickoff or the start time is for the tee-off. Munster was a TV series many years ago, says Jason, and come on the Bulls, says Royston. A dangerous loose forward trio for both of the sides in this contest, particularly off the bench, most on the grandstand, says Haino. Yeah, I'm looking at that near side from the wide angle. The thing is, Loftus is so big as well, though, that it makes it look like it's a small crowd. Like, that could be 20,000, but because of the amount of empty seats, it looks like it's like 2. But, you know, it's probably anywhere between, I'd say, 10 to 20,000 in attendance for this game, which is great for the South African side. I love that extra bit of support, definitely after how they played last week up against Cardiff. Looks like an overcast day in Loftus. Not any rain around that I know of. Golf kickoff. That's what I do because I can't hit a golf. I'll hit the ball with the club. Yeah, see, the thing is, it's going to be brutal because normally, you know, if you're playing a bit of golf, it doesn't seem like a sport that you'd need a lot of sleep for. But, you know, it's frustrating enough at the best of times. So if I'm hitting the ball poorly, it's going to be a long day at the office. Glasgow look quite unstoppable right now, especially at Scotstoun Stadium. I love golf. Went for a drink with Tiger Woods last night, says Martin. And also, what did you end up cooking, Hamish? I just cooked some chips. That was all I did. Some pretty basic, you know, food a toddler would enjoy. But they were all right. And now we're ready to go for yet again another match. These two sides must be very close to making their way out onto the park. It is a 1 a.m. start time for us here in New Zealand. We're currently 12:59. We haven't seen a sign of any player making their way out onto the park. Yep, if we played at the European stadiums, we would sell it out, says Aino. In there. Oh, it depends on the stadium, though. There's some pretty big ones in Europe, too. How many does the Aviva hold compared to Loftus? I think Aviva's about 30,000, is it? Aviva. Oh, didn't mean to have a big capital letter there. Aviva Stadium. It's actually 51,700 as the capacity, although it's 711. They got those extra 11 seats in. And we missed you last week. Had to listen to URC on the radio, Afrikaans commentary for the Lions game and Zulu commentary for the Sharks game. Gotta love the Rainbow Nation, says Robert. What was I doing? Oh, last weekend I had my cricket final. You know how I mentioned how my memory's going down the gurgler? That was probably the perfect example. I couldn't even think why we didn't do the URC last week, but now I have had that realisation. It was because we decided to take the day off so that I could be fresh for the final, just to then not do well. Good morning, Hamish. Welcome in. How are you, mate? I'm doing very well. It's interesting, though. I was confused why you blocked me on Discord, but it is what it is. I have a feeling Munster will win. Or must win, rather than Mohadin, rather than will win. Virtus, the nemesis of hunger. Says Jason there. And I need to learn Zulu. My friends only taught me the swear words, says Bender. That's a bit the same with me in Afrikaans. Like, I know when I'm being sworn at, but I don't know any other words. Unfortunately, only like the very occasional one. But Johan Rubela, I'm ready to get this one off. I don't have Discord. You do, though. Or at least you did anyway. Because the fun fact about YouTube is I can click to see what people's previous messages were. And your account name, before you changed it, had a whole heap of messages to me saying, can you please reply to my Discord message? So you would have been better off making a second account and calling it R than having the original one and then continuing with it. Did Chiefs win, says Mohadin? They did. In the end, getting themselves the win over the Western Force by the 10 points, 24 points to 14. New Zealand clean sweep in Super Rugby, says Sakabula. Now both sides have made their way out onto the park. What should be a very entertaining game between these two sides. But yeah, much better for New Zealand in terms of the fixtures. And yeah, the Aviva is pretty big, but except Aviva, which of the URC teams, stadium more than 25 to 30k, says Haino. Holly Davidson, she will be the referee in charge of this one. Sam Grove White as the TMO. Where do the Chiefs stand, says Mohadin. So after that recent win, they moved back into the top 6 of the competition, I believe. But they still have a little bit of ground to make up before they go to the number 1 spot, which they are after. But the Bulls, they will be kicking off this one from right to left for this game at Loftus, Munster, to bounce back from their loss last week, 45-0. What time is tee off for this match? It was supposed to be 1, but we're about 2 minutes behind at the moment for the start of the contest. Andre Pollard, it looks like he's been ready to go for quite some time. All right, time is on. The clock is on. And we're ready to go. Andre Pollard versus Jack Crowley in the number 10 jersey for this game. Nice take there from Alex Nankerveld for Munster inside of the 22. And already the ball is stripped by the Bulls. That is the worst possible start that they could have been after. They're now running it sideways. Andre Pollard went for the pass to Nassim Carr. The advantage was still in place, so they will go back. And double knock on. There's a scrum here for Munster. A nice ROP says Sakabula there. It's about Munster and the Stormers, says Mohadin. Any Easter eggs in your future? Probably not, to be fair. I'm probably going to buy my mum a chocolate bunny. I normally get her one each year. I just rip one now, says Titanium. Oh yeah, nice rip rather than nice RIP, I should say, from Sakabula. And knock on. It was a pass, says Haino. So I guess it was ruled as forward then in that case, right? Now scrum feed here for Craig Casey. Balls to win 31-18, says Cheslin. Now this ball does go in. Now breaking off the back. Good run from Gleeson. Manages to move to about 40 metres out from the line. Little bit of a counter ruck there. And a penalty awarded to Munster. Are you doing Easter egg hunt? No. There is, on one of my hard drives, a Easter egg hunt that me and George did about 4 years ago. It never got released. It was really random. I think he was dressed as Santa and I was dressed as a wizard. But that thing's never going to see the light of day. Munster to win 21 points to 14. I like how you read blatant crass language like a news reporter, says Titanium. And Easter eggs are so expensive, I'm giving my family real eggs instead. More protein anyway, says Pender. A line-out throw here for Munster. They are inside of the 22. Turf on the near side at Loftus is looking a little bit dry. They had dry weather in Loftus, or is it like that they've had something else there on the turf? But that is a not straight throw from Munster. In fact, no drop from Casey. So it is going to be the scrum feed now for the Bulls. It's not going to be that close, people. And Horse World Cup is happening in Dubai. So here's Pep's Woks. It's going to be knocked to the side. 2.5 minutes through this matchup. The Bulls now have their first scrum feed. This is part of the game where they will really want to dominate early. Assert that dominance. I've got Gerhard Stennekamp in the starting lineup. They've got Matunu off the bench, as well as Jan Hendrik Wessels. The far side, near side of the field. I notice it's quite dry around the 22. It almost looked like there's been like a strip or like a truck or something that's driven down it. So I don't know what's happened there, but I assume they would have had something else at Loftus recently, right? How much is your Easter egg by you? It's 50 Rand by me, says Mohadeen. So to get a decent sized Easter egg here in New Zealand would be about probably 120, 150 Rand. I'm just about to try a new Cadbury chocolate bar, sticky toffee. And now in Brewers Papier. Need to put this ball in. What do you make of the under-23 league in South Africa, Hamish? If I'm being honest, I didn't even know it was a thing. When's it? Is it starting later on? Someone mentioned about some under-20s near the July internationals or something, or maybe a bit later. It's going to be a free kick now going the way of the Bulls. It's probably not a terrible result for Munster in that scenario, as scrum of the Bulls, not many sides get past it. But Michael Alalatoa, the man, was penalised. You're allowed 5 players older per team. And did you see the under-23 Stormers they won? I didn't. It's a slightly sad thing about being in New Zealand. You don't really get too many of those updates, or you don't get to watch the games live anyway. Or a lot of the other competitions. Inside pass, it looked a little bit forward to Jean Klein. Now Casey on short side, big driving tackle on Calvin Nash. Bulls not lacking that physicality early. Now Jack Crowley, nice pass there, thought about the offload, couldn't quite get it away. Now Casey moves away to the left-hand side. Crowley going for a kick him behind, but the Bulls do have 2 men back covering. Billy LaRue gets the bounce of the ball. Bit of a rough pass to Pollard, and a rush kick there from the Springboks veteran. Oh, Crowley looked like he ran that into touch. 76 Rand for an Easter egg here, I think. It might be the football having an effect, says Haino. There is still a little bit of paint from, I assume, from the football relatively recently. Like, you can still see the inner circle. But, yeah, on that near side, I'm not sure what it is. It's about on the 5-metre line. It just looks like it's quite sandy or something. Do they have any highlights of these games? Always keen to see the young talent coming through, says Neil Bester. So the highlights of these URC games is normally on the URC YouTube channel. They come out, I'd say, about an hour or two after the games, it seems to be. Hello, Sir Hamish. Happy Easter weekend. Or week, says Darren. Same to you. And the Rue Lols says Titanium. Yeah, he is still around. Oh, the cloud has just gone right over Loftus. Sun was out for a second, but now it looks like it's just gotten a little bit darker. Hopefully no rain is in the forecast for this game. We've already seen the Western Force versus Chiefs game. That second half had quite a bit of an issue with the rain side of things. The truly sad thing about being in New Zealand is our Prime Minister is an idiot, says Jason. And is it raining, or is it raining where the Bulls and Lions playing? So the Bulls for now don't have rain. Hopefully that is the way that it's going to stay. And in terms of the other game, no idea what the weather's doing in Johannesburg at the moment. Craig Casey, though, possession here for Munster. 6 minutes into the contest. The score sits 0-0. Over the ball there. Andre Pollard getting in the breakdown and winning the turnover for his side. Putting in a couple of the hard yards. Gives Holly Davison a tap on the shoulder there, Pollard. Happy with what he's done there. Able to get himself the steal for his side. Now, getting ready to kick this one towards the sideline. It's very hot where the Storm is playing, says Mohadeen. And you'd assume that all the South African sides would have that 20 minutes in break for the drinks. Or the cooling break, as they like to call it. Saw it in that game just recently between Cardiff and the Sharks. But penalty 1-1 at the moment in terms of the count. Johan Krobler gets his line out in. On off to the left-hand side. A little bit of a fumble there from Billy LaRue, but manages to regather it. Andre Pollard, 2-man tackle on him by Munster with a little bit of a counter-ruck as well. Do we think we are a better side with Pollard compared to Johannes? Or do I think? It depends a little bit. Because Pollard can go into his shell sometimes. And other times, he has moments like that where you go, okay, he's well and truly up for it. I think that in terms of controlling a game, that Pollard is the better bet. But then if you're looking for that pure attacking option at 10, to go alongside the attacking backline, you're probably looking at Johannes. Do you commentate in your sleep sometimes? After doing this so often, I have been told that one time I was doing some sleep commentary. My mum thought I was on the phone at like 5 a.m., but it was just the fact that I was sleeping. Oh, wrong one. Hang on, we'll go like that. No, we'll go like that. Jason's accidentally popped up on the screen as well. How's it, Craig? Oh, sorry, how's it, Hamish? Craig from St. Francis Bay, Eastern Cape, South Africa is back. Oh, Spooky, it's the same guy that you saw earlier on who said, you know, the fella with the green logo. It's quite weird because he's had multiple accounts. He tried to take over the Discord server and then tried to get me to hire him as a moderator so that he could then moderate himself. And then now he's got about 4 or 5 different YouTube accounts that he likes to cycle through. You'll see him pop back on his main account very shortly. But unfortunately, he's not that good at covering it up, so I worked it out pretty quickly. Are you going to try come over for the Greatest Rivalry Tour? Be awesome if you did. Probably not. I don't think the channel has anywhere near the funds to be able to send me to South Africa, unfortunately. Now, Kutli Arnse. Ball here about 40 metres out from the line. Willie LaRue goes to Johan Rubbela now. Foster goes across to the left-hand side. Nassim Carr. That one's going to be dropped. Stedman Hans has gone into touch. Hamish can commentate, eat and play cricket in his sleep. Pollard goes into his shell. Is he a snail or a turtle? And Carr has passed his best, says Neil Bester. Although they have got Cameron Honeycomb to make his way off of the bench in this game rather than in the starting lineup. You see there, just slips through the fingertips of Carr as he looks to, as he looks to put the ball on the outside. Bit of concern here for Jean Klein. Why the Bulls playing so bad? Mohadin was playing so what? Hamish, do you like Biltong, says Clinty? I've only had Biltong once and it was actually terrible. But I was also told by some South Africans who I gave some to that it was just the biltong that was bad, not like biltong in general. But the thing that hurt it was the fact that it sat in a courier van for about 2 or 3 days in like scorching heat. So it pretty much went bad. I think Robbie Kent or one of the other guys made a comment before the game about Moody saying he was wasted at the wing. And he thought Hans and Moody was a good partnership last week. Well, that's the thing. They had a good win over Cardiff, and then there have been a few switches made here by the Bulls. And I don't know whether that's down to the opposition that they've got in front of them or whether that is just due to trying to rotate, trying to try a few different things. Khaleesi injured again. I get worried about his body for 2027. And we have got there, Hamish. We need a haircut. Did you usually shower? Welcome back, Pepswox. Interesting timing that you've now just popped back in. I see you're not playing, says Mohadin. Yeah, by the sounds of it, a bit of an injury. Well, Khaleesi at the moment going off to the left-hand side. Jack Crowley passes it on. Calvin Nash now skip pass. It was low and a tricky one to be able to grab for O'Brien. So a knock on and a scrum now for the Bulls. Beef jerky is better, says Jason Hamilton. They're the same but different, aren't they? In terms of biltong and jerky. That one was close to Kana Moody's hand, to be fair, but luckily didn't end up brushing it. Instead went out to O'Brien to then knock that ball on. And the error so far, 4 from Munster in the early stages of this game compared to the 2 of the Bulls. You're getting to see a lot of these scrums early on for the 2 sides. The Bulls, they were able to get a free kick off their last scrum feed. This is definitely not a part of the game that Munster want to be in a lot. Ready to feed it in for the Bulls with Ambroise Papier. Now that's a massive push. Alala was off the ground, being elevated there by Gerhard Stennekamp. I think Munster will win this one. So here's one Pierre Bosch. Although if we see a whole heap of scrums, I think it will be a hard one for them to be able to get that momentum going. And Khaleesi done his calf and massive scrum, says Haino. Kick downfield from Pollard into touch. Now here comes the rolling ball by Michael Alatoa. Gerhard Stennekamp just gets under him and then just picks him up. And Alatoa almost didn't look like he quite knew what happened there. And who do you think Force could have won? I didn't watch the Islanders fan. Probably not. Like, the thing is, the Chiefs were in some sort of control throughout their game. They just seemed to make a few bad choices near the end that almost cost them. Kane and Moody now offload there to Marcel Kutsia. Currently only 10 metres out from the line. Harold Foster gets that a little bit closer. Robbie Kent said Alatoa is pretty average loose head. Now backline movement. Sounds like Robbie Kent's been firing shots all throughout the early stages of this matchup. That one's going to be kicked downfield. It's a good strike of the ball from Crowley. This one close to the sideline. Claimed there by Villy LaRue. Didn't have a lot of angle to work with, but he somehow kept that ball in the field of play. Now, running across field, Calvin Nash gets over the top of the tackle attempt of Ruan Vermaak. Out to the left once more. Short ball. Jean Klein, two-man tackle on him. He looked like he was injured earlier on. It seems like he is all right. Billy, stop being stupid, please, says Haino. Now wide cut-out pass. Close to the sideline for O'Connor. Where is Wilco Lowe? I don't know if he's got an injury or whether he's just been left out for this game. Craig Casey goes off to Ben O'Connor. He said it pre-match. Did he say anything positive pre-match, or was it just everything that was negative about the sides? Now Grubbard, or a little chip in behind from Crowley. Looks like it was going to be play on, but he knocks it on in the second attempt. Looks like he's feeling that hit as well. Kind of smacked the back of his head on the turf. When the Curry Cup playing, I think we're still a couple months away at least from the Curry Cup getting underway. I think it's normally in about July or somewhere. You never know which Bulls side rock up. Hope the Bulls pitch up. He praised the Bulls. Okay, so he praised the Bulls. He just didn't praise where they're playing certain players. Bulls are likely to secure a victory by most perspective, says Charles. Stormers have a good team. He said Munster has a good 9 and 10. Well, that's a positive too. To be fair, international calibre for Craig Casey and Jack Crowley. Pretty hard for for Casey when you're dealing with someone like a Jameson, Gibson Park. A lot of starting minutes there once again. Says Titanium, a Bull's strength and durability. It's like another bit of an injury. Oh. Okay, Holly Davison just giving a bit of a warning to one of the sides. She was explaining why they were getting penalised, and she said pretty much you can laugh about it, but, you're going to get penalised for it again. LaRue once again says Titanium. 14 minutes through this match, and it is still 0-0 between these two sides. He cost us a try. I haven't seen the try take place yet. Where is Jean Klein? He's been playing throughout this game. He was down with a bit of an injury earlier on. He just recently had that carry when he was tackled by the two Bulls players. Is Craig Casey related to Dylan Casey? Not sure. We have Munster team from Ireland. From Munster. Afternoon Roos says Haino and LaRue having a good game. Any predictions for the finals teams and where? I think I'm still picking Ulster to make the semis. Now, it's not a popular choice in some regards, but ever since the start of the competition from round number 1, I've felt like Ulster are going to do quite well. And it's still a bit of a wait-and-see situation. Bulls must score soon, says Ruth. Neither side being able to bring up early points in this matchup. I believe it took about 23 minutes before we saw a point in the game between the Chiefs and Force, the knock-on. Did you miss it? There was 2 knock-ons from Jack Crowley, was there not? I believe they ruled the first one. Now, Ollie Davison standing in the middle of the scrum. Okay, do not step up when they're not over-leaning. And indeed, LaRue is having a good game. And also we have got the Ulster might be distracted by the Challenge Cup. Says Aino. And could the Bulls be distracted by the Champions Cup perhaps? I mean, both of these sides have got big games around the corner. Of course, Munster in that same boat as well of a big playoff game next week. But I still think Ulster's going to be semi-finalists, even with that Challenge Cup. Munster is from the Harbour City, Limerick. Says one Beer Bosch. And now the penalty does go the way of Munster at scrum time. Michael Milne, the man who was penalised. Now Andre Pollard again. Just sends this one over the sideline, currently from just inside of their own half. It will be the line out for the Bulls. Just seeing the replay there, though. Nice work from Andre Pollard. Want to get those extra few metres, can make all the difference. Now Johan Robillard throws it into the front to Vermaak. We didn't see being contested. Now backline movement. Foster goes across Willie LaRue. Forward pass to Kane and Moody right in front of the touch judge. Missed it completely. Now Kurt Liarense might be one of those stadiums, once again, that sometimes can be a little bit deceptive, but the ball is picked up by Munster anyway. Trying to keep it in the field of play. And back in the hands of Munster. Ulster will have a good chance, probably making it to the semis. Depends if we win next week. Says Hano and Wyatt's Pablo Escobar, always affiliated with the white powder. Says Jason now kick downfield. And Craig Casey, tell you what, that looked like it was just outside of a 50-22, but it was only inches away. A good kick in behind from, I think, was that one of their loose forwards? In that case, Johan Robillard now with the line out. And I know Bulls must do this, says Ruth. 17 minutes through. 0-0 between these two sides. Still waiting for that first big moment for either of these teams. And Broas Papier is across to Marcel Kutzia. Not able to get that turn. We need to capitalise on the chances and scrum dominance. Yeah, I think that the Bulls just need to try and control this game, and they can control it through the set piece. Their line-out's doing nicely too. Oh, nice take in the air from Kutliarense. Now back across the right-hand side. Harold Foster, skip pass on the outside to Kane and Moody. Again, just not a lot of space to work with. He grubbers it pretty much straight into touch. And it will now be Munster do get themselves the line out. We're hopefully going to do a tour of the greatest rivalry tour. My brother-in-law is a Kiwi. 8-box 1 Kiwi is going to be great, says Mike. Now we see it there to see Cheetahs playing now. And who is the replacement for Munster at fullback? So in terms of their back replacements, they have got Hanneran. And they don't really have, because John Hodnett's forward, isn't he? So bit of the 6-2, probably, I guess, all down to JJ in that number 22 jersey. Just check the Bulls next game, Holy. They have the easy games in the URC. Says Kahu. They still played everyone the same amount of times, though. Like, you still play everyone once, and then also the sides in your region you play twice. So, just because they've got it easier now doesn't mean that they aren't playing the same opposition. It's just the fact that their draw has worked out in that fashion. Like, they have played the exact same sides as Glasgow will by the end of the season. Now, ball's going to be thrown in by Munster, taken by Thomas Ahern. A much better start to the game than we did see last week for Munster in their game up against the Sharks. Kane and Moody went up for the ball, knocks it on. Craig Casey going away to the right-hand side. 2 men. Oh, that's deliberate from Kurt Liarense, and he didn't really make it too unobvious that he was just trying to slap that one down. The penalty is going to be awarded to Munster. You might be slightly lucky not to actually get a card there, Kurt Liarense. There was no intent in catching that ball, just trying to slap it so that they could go back for the advantage, and instead gives away the penalty. No score yet, says Kahu. Ball booted into touch by Jack Crowley. I'd like to see a replay of this. Aronson just gliding through the air and slapping it down like he was going for a charge down of a kick, but instead, you're only getting the one hand to it for Aronson. How does the Kiwis feel about ex-players pushing to play for another country, like Nankerville, for example? I'm probably the wrong one to ask because I don't mind it. But I know that some people feel very differently about it. The way I look at it is if you're eligible to play for a different country, go for it. At the end of the day, it's similar to coaches as well. If you want to coach a different side than the nation where you're born, go for it. Wide cut-out pass here. Munster have gone for it, and they have scored themselves the first try of this match at Loftus. How much chuck could a chuck would? If a chuck would, could woodchuck? Says Jason, you've gone the wrong way round with that, haven't you? But Sean O'Brien scores the try there for Munster. He's passing it in behind. Good delayed pass from Crowley. And then the wide one Forward pass there. If the one earlier on from Villy LaRue to Moody wasn't called, they definitely won't be checking this one. Unfortunately, that just seems to be the case every once in a while. They just go, nah, forward passes don't exist. Glasgow is going to destroy the Bulls in Scotstoun Stadium next week. Says Kahu. Now, Jack Crowley. First kick of the match for him. 35 metres out from the line. 10 seconds left on the shot clock. Getting the warning there from Holly Davison. And it's looking pretty handy. It's gone down the middle, making the score now 7-0 in favour of Munster. And I believe that double blow of the whistle is referring to now the 3 minutes cooling break that we are going to have for these two sides. It is something that they do in the hotter conditions. Now Munster choosing the perfect time to be able to score just before that break as well. Sean O'Brien untouched as he ran that one in. Someone's got a couple umbrellas trying to give the team a little bit of shade here. Keeping you thinking, says Jason. Yeah, this kind of gives us like a 4 quarters situation in this game rather than 2 halves per se. So first quarter down, 7-0 for Munster after that first 20. This is where now we have to see the Bulls start that comeback, start to mount something, step in the right direction and get over that try line. With the scrum the way that it's been working thus far, you'd think that it wouldn't be the biggest challenge to be able to get some possession. I believe Bulls can come back, says Charles. Yeah, we're still very early on in this game. This one is far from over. They're showing one of the South African schoolboy teams, I believe that is. And we're doing a little bit of a follow the instruction situation. They did slide to the left. Half of the boys went one way, half went the other. So I think they were trying to work out whether or not it was their right or the other people's. And the crowd having a bit of fun here during this cooling break. Some of them are in the shade currently. I like 4 quarters myself. A fun fact, I topped Super Brew for round 7. Nice. That's for like predictions, right? Rather than for the team side of things? Or is that also Super Brew? Nice take there for Munster. Being told to use it again here for Craig Casey. Bit of a counter-ruck there from Johan Rubela. And yes, there's Badzer. Casey rolls it back, told to use it. That's fantasy, says BTW Badzer. Okay, and Moody again just suffering the knock-on there. And each time that happens, Munster decide try and get a bit of momentum. It's kicked out on the full by Casey, so they'll go back for the knock-on. Is Casey both-footed? I believe so. That one was probably a bit hard to tell, seeing as he did boot it straight out. But, yeah, I believe he can kick off both feet, Craig Casey. Another scrum for Munster, about 35 metres out from their line. And what's up, buddy? How much streams more to come for this day, says Coding. So we have still got the stream that I am going to be doing for Stormers versus Edinburgh. That is at 6 a.m. New Zealand time, so in about 4.5 hours. But we have got someone filling in for me. He's actually in the chat at the moment. He kicked with his left there. Says Hano, but he will be covering the Lions versus Dragons game for us. And that is because I have got a family thing taking place today. So I'm going to try and sneak a couple hours in while I can rather than go on an all-nighter beforehand. Only one I got wrong. Like everything else, or everyone else, was the Brumbies game. So here's BTW Patson. Now backline movement here for Munster. Bulldozing through. Stedman Khan's there. Hamish getting his PhD from YouTube, says Charles. Now Craig Casey. It looks like Ardenson was just able to roll out in time. Where's Serfontaine injured? I actually think I might push Damien Dialendi a bit. He might be injured. Maybe. Hopefully someone who's a bit more closely following the Bulls will be able to let me know. Oh, that's a huge shot on Villy LaRue. Looks like Calvin Nash has knocked himself out in the process. He is flat down on the ground. They are just trying to keep his neck in place here. He is unconscious on the ground here. Willie LaRue, I'm not sure why the Munster players are going over and blaming LaRue for this when it was Calvin Nash's tackle attempt that knocked himself out. He's injured ACL, I think. A family function are you going to? So it is like a memorial golf thing. So it's extended family and everyone kind of goes and plays. I want to say it's 9 holes. I'm kind of hoping it's 9 holes rather than 18. 18 would take quite the effort, definitely off about 1 hour of sleep. There is going to be a relatively long stoppage here, ladies and gentlemen, due to that injury of Calvin Nash. He's knocked out very quickly. We're going to see the replay here. Goes in with the head and catches the back of Willie LaRue. So, yeah, once again, I have no idea why the Munster guys were trying to start a fight with Willie LaRue in terms of, like, just in general why they were starting to scrap. Memorial Golf, did someone die? A while ago, like, kind of back in the day. Although I guess it's on the same side as, I mean, my grandma died today, so that's kind of her side, so I guess it could be for her as well now. We have got there, did you ever try kombucha? No, I haven't, but I've heard interesting things about it. Will he put him down? Says Neil Bester. Nah, jokes, just bad tackle technique. Yeah, unfortunately just facing the wrong way and just taking the shot with the head on the spine. But yeah, I think there is going to be a relatively long stoppage. We have got there, what is Munster's record at Loftus? They've won at least one game, I believe. 18 holes is rough enough with sleep. So good luck if it is, says BTW Pazza. Yeah, I'm hoping it's Ambrose. So that way I can just get away with doing the occasional shot and not being heavily relied upon. You love playing golf as you play cricket. Depends on how the golf goes. It's very much so a day-to-day type of thing. Grandma actually passed today. Yeah, this afternoon. Or like, I guess yesterday afternoon because we're 1:30 a.m. New Zealand time. So about probably 8 hours ago while I was streaming. We have got there, look bad at first, says Kahu. And we have got there, they won the last game at Loftus, says Haino. And is Calvin Nash related to Dion Nash? No idea. I think you're just picking random guys with the same last name, aren't you? And trying to work out if they're related. But now scrum feed at the moment here for Imbros Papier. Hamish, don't mention personal stuff with YouTube chat. Well, I apologise for bringing it up. Well, to be fair, you brought it up. We have got there, sorry for your loss, bro. Says BTW pads up, and now Imbros Papier ready to feed this one in. It's going to be on the side of Munster, on the side of the Bulls, and they have got themselves the scrum advantage. Sitting about 40 metres out from the line, and that is going to be another penalty awarded to the Bulls. This is where they can get back into this game. We have got there, sorry for your loss, Hamish, you all right? Says Bender, I'm not allowed to bring it up, I've learned. But yeah, I'm doing all right. We have got the, I agree, I did, but sorry for your loss, says Charles. And expect the Lions in Cardiff, expect the Lions in Cardiff. Have we beaten someone above us? Well, that's the thing. They went through that patch, didn't they? A while ago, where they just couldn't get a win to save themselves. But now, line-out time here for Johan Robela again. 4 penalties against Munster throughout this one. Nicely taken by Ruan Vermaak at the front of the line. Now, Harold Foster goes to Kukli Aronson trying to spin through the tackle attempt of Michael Milne. Now, Stedman Khans goes away to the right-hand side. Ruan Vermaak gets it to Ruan Nokia. Is Nassim Carr related to Jimmy Carr? That one I know is no. And how will Glasgow Scrum go up against this Bulls team next week? Says Kahu. It depends on the team that they select. I think it will look a little bit different to what we're seeing here. But they'd just like to score 1 try in this stage of the contest. They've had 25 minutes without a single point on the board for the Bulls. And Bros Papier goes short ball to Marcel Kutsia. Haven't got the penalty advantage at the moment. 8 bases in. Bit of a loose ball knock on from Willie LaRue. And now a counter-attacking chance for Alex Nankivell on his Munster side. Eldrick Lowe trying to hold him up, and it's been ripped off him, so the penalty awarded to Munster there. Craig Casey thought about going quickly. Didn't really get a reaction from any of the Bulls players. I give this guy a thumbs up. Says Mai Tai Tours. And how will Glasgow Scrum go up against this Bulls team next week? I think it will be all right. But at the same time, like, it just depends on the day. Like, if you're going to have Gerald Stennekamp, Johan Grobbelaar, and Wilco Low, like, that's a hard scrum for international, let alone in the URC. Adesanya URC fight tonight, Hamish. Yeah, someone mentioned earlier on there's a couple Kiwis on that card. That one's happening in the afternoon, right? We are doing bad. Says Haino. And the Bulls, or Glasgow Bulls game, wins whoever is at home. Any other cricket tournaments after that win for your cricket team? No more, no. So next game of cricket for myself is probably in about October, I would say. And I have to find myself a winter sport. Now Baron, line out here for Munster again, just outside of the Bulls 22. Set play to the front, Baron cutting back inwards, tackled by Ruan Vermaak. I prefer to talk about regular stuff rather than the club game. When it's New Zealand team playing, it gives me enthusiasm, says Charles. Oh, that was almost a tip tackle in the breakdown, but there's going to be a penalty won by the Bulls. Johan Grobbelaar gets over the ball. Do you have a long drive? It's all right. I wouldn't say like I'm a very long hitter, but I probably hit it well for my frame, if that makes sense. But I normally don't try and swing too hard with the drive. There's one hole at the local course that I just swing as hard as I can and I give it a nasty hook and it actually goes in the right shape towards the hole. But most of the time I'll go back that little bit of like maybe 5% just to try and hit it a bit straighter. Why don't you play rugby, Hamish? That wouldn't be for me. I'm much better off commentating rugby than I am playing it. I have very low fitness, no strength, no pace, not a lot going for me. Rugby is not easy to play, says Charles. Nicely taken there for the Bulls. Ambrose Papier goes across to Marcel Kutsia. Andre Pollard shifting it on. Skip pass out to Johan Grobbelaar again in space for the Bulls up to the halfway line, bumping off Alex Nankerville. Offload there though. It's picked up by, I believe it's O'Brien again. There might have been a knock on. They will have to check it. But for now, it is going to be play on. Counter ruck from Ruan Nokia. Now backline movement here for Munster. One-on-one tackle made by Foster. Kick attempted in behind. It goes out on the full. Do you have skills? Rugby skills, solid pass, spiral kick. I have a decent pass, but that's about it. Is it fun to play golf or not? Depends on if you're good at it. I'd say sometimes golf can be extremely fun, and other times it can be one of the most frustrating things you'll ever do in your life. You play rugby sevens then. And we have got there, rugby hurt, says Pender. And geez, our lineouts are bad. 29 minutes in. Still in favour of Munster, 7-0. We have got there, Hamish, you never been to the gym, pal? It's because our local gym almost got burnt down. So it was out of action for about 3 months. Or in fact, no, it was closer to 6 months that they didn't have it going on. So that kind of affects the membership a bit. Now rolling maul here for the Bulls. Apparently this one doing a bit of the side shuffle. Now, nice step from Ambrose Papier, pinning the ears back. Great pace shown by him. He goes straight through. What a phenomenal run from the Bulls number 9, and that has completely changed this game straight away. Tell you what, if Rusty's watching this game, he'll be absolutely loving a run like that. I can tell you that right now. Do you play golf, Hamish? How's your mum and dad? Said Mukhadeen. They're both doing all right. They are both going to be playing golf today as well. What's your thoughts on the All Blacks coach team? Well, because we haven't seen them in action yet, it's very hard to tell. But at the end of the day, like, it'll go all right, I think. You don't need a gym, you need a Tai Chi. Says Pender. Papier, give him a Bok jersey. Says Haino, but straight out in front of the post now. And the kick has gone over from Pollard. It's going to make the score now 7-all. Hamish, I hope you didn't forget New Zealand national anthem, says Charles. Yeah, Ambrose Papier just showing the pace. And that step, the last one was absolutely lethal. The way that he was able to get around the opposition. Yeah, some big cheering going on in the stands. Greetings from sunny downtown Durban. Welcome in. Antoine Papier, says Mark. But 31 minutes through, like I've said, there wasn't actually a lot on there for that move initially, but Papier just creating the chance and creating big opportunity here for the Bulls to go into the halftime break with the lead if they can get it over the try line once more. We have got the Andre Pollard kick. Do you know how? Well, he got it over, so I'd say yes. I feel like the contenders of the URC is Glasgow, Leinster and Stormers, maybe Ulster, says Kahu. I think it's going to be a tough and exciting series, and go the Sharkies, says Cully. Were you happy with their performance yesterday, Kelly? I know that there was a bit of frustration for some that they didn't chase a bonus point when they are still outside of the top 8. Oh, miscommunication there. Looked like O'Connor wasn't really going for that ball, and instead it's going to bounce on the side of the Bulls. Nassim Carr goes to Pollard. Does go for the cross kick. Kane Moody may have been in front of him there, but it will be the play on call. Slammed into the turf by Dan Kelly. Stedman Hans going to Elric Lowe, and an illegal clean out there on the breakdown from the Bulls. Just going to give the penalty to Munster. Some swearing going on at the moment. I'll take any win that the Sharks can get, says Cully Stain. And the Bulls will send a second or third string team for next week's game. They prefer doing well in the URC, says Johan. Yeah, see, that's the tricky part though, isn't it? Because Jake White made his intentions perfectly clear that he wasn't concerned about the Champions or the Challenge Cup. And he pretty much said, we're going to have to win the URC. And when they didn't, even though they did quite well, when they didn't win the comp, he was then sacked. So, you know, if you're going to focus on one comp, you better make sure you win it. Is all I'll say for the Bulls. So Papier not only on paper, should he be in the squad, but also on the field. Says Haino there. We're going to see the clean out now. Rua Nokia does come through and hit him in the head. It is past the ruck. It's a head clash. I think it's going to be a yellow card here for Rua Nokia. Just from this angle, it looks like there wasn't any way he wasn't going to hit him in the head, unfortunately. Now we have it there, that's a penalty. Well, that's only a penalty. What can Nokia do? I think in that scenario, what he can do is not come flying in and hit the guy in the head. He probably rushed it a little bit because they felt like that ball was going to be lost by the Bulls. He looks like he's also probably going to go for an HIA anyway, Nokia. Okay, Craig Casey said that's a clear red card, but thank you for the yellow. So it's going to be an off-field review, flying headbutt, says I Lollipop. I started a conversation or conversion from halfway playing rugby league. The wicket tail win behind me. Hamish, do you mind if I see your total sub count? It says 79.6. I want to see how much 600 subscribers you have. Says James. Oh, sorry, it was Charles in there. I can find the exact number. Hang on. Oh, that one hasn't found touch. Mistake made there from Munster. And that Irish accent, it was a bit rough, wasn't it? So it's 612 is the exact number. Ball is on the side of the Bulls, but they are playing with a man disadvantage now for the next 9.5 minutes, maybe even. The next 20, you have to control yourself on the field, says I Lollipop. And come on, Munster, says Hori there. Ball's there for Papier. We'll go for the box kick. Jean Klein tries to charge it down. Couldn't get too close to it. Kane Moody going up and takes that one nicely. Oh, looks like someone's ankle may have got him rolled in that breakdown. Papier shovels it on. Now cross kick from Billy LaRue. It goes into touch again. In Rome, shopping with wife and kids, says Johan. So hopefully you do enjoy the shopping experience. Hopefully the wallet doesn't take a huge hit there. Bulls will win, says Zach. And Unlucky Billy says, hey, no, and having women as referee and men's rugby is perfect because you're not allowed to argue, talk back, or shout at the referee. Says I Lollipop. Munster are parking the bus. I don't know if they're parking the bus. It's just that the Bulls have had a bit more of the ball. Now, nicely, or should have been a nice, easy line out. They made a difficult work of that, Munster, but they're back in position now till they knocked it on again. This time it was dropped by Brian Gleeson. Harold Foster now, about 30 metres out from the line. Nassim Carr Away to the right, Stedman Hans has a couple men with him, gets through one. Kanan Moody on the outside scores the try, and the Bulls score with 14 out there on the field. We have there, hey Hamish, how many likes do we need for you to send me a picture of your feet? That number does not exist, Martin. But Moody down the wing scores his 32nd try. Stedman Hans getting through. The tackle attempt of Alex Nankervel just held him off. The good strong arm broke away, freed up the hands to be able to get the pass to Kanan Moody. All he had to do was run it on around and score the try. But they take the lead now, the Bulls. And Glasgow favourites against the Bulls or not? They probably would be, I would think. And Hans means goose in Afrikaans, says Anil. Now a kick here for Andre Pollard. Score is sitting 12-7, but it could become 14-7. He is able to convert here. It's the additional 2 Pollard. 14-7 now. The 5 minutes remaining. Okay, there was just something said there, nothing clear. I think that might have been for the shot on Stedman Hans. It looked a little high in that last replay. Get impatient during a massage. Usually, I go for a happy beginning, says Jason. Moody has an ice pack on that shoulder. He is going to be all right to continue this match by the looks of it. Munster. It's quite interesting. They have got one extra man on the field, but they are the team who is slowing this down now. You must come across some weird people in the chat over the years. And Auntie says, cool story. More than you can probably imagine, I would say. Jack Crowley. Kicking this one long. Nice take there from Elric Lowe. Missed tackle low from Ben O'Connor. Ball still there for Ambrose Papier though. 4 minutes left of the half. So by the end of this one, maybe even in the early stages of the second half, we'll get to find out whether or not Ruan Nokia will get to return in this game. Ambrose Papier kicks it up high. Kudley Arnsa steaming after it, but it is taken by Ben O'Connor. Almost isolated himself on the short side. A little bit of a counter-ruck there from Johan Robillard. They got back through Munster. You hit it on their zone, no doubt. You've got good social and management skills now. Says good story in there. Now left-hand side, Casey goes to Crowley. Now another penalty advantage in favour of Munster. That was for the Bulls being offside. They'll go back for the penalty now. Number 7, that's against Eldrick Lowe. Getting up that little bit too quickly. Ankle story, bro. Says Charles. Cameron Honeycomb, of course, still to make his way off of the bench in this game. One's going to be booted into touch by Crowley. Awareness makes the world turn, sadly, says Jason. Is that spoken from experience, Jason? Line out chance here. Munster right at the end of the half. Currently, the way that it sits, the Bulls will be sitting just a 1 point behind Munster on 39. Munster would stay in that 6th place. We need a trial penalty before half-time, says Haino. And Munster, they will be thinking the exact same thing. 2 minutes left to try and get something going here. With that man advantage as well. Jack Crowley crossed there to the left-hand side. One thing that's let Munster down a little bit is their handling. That ball's loose. Picked up by Johan Robillard. And just as I mentioned the handling, that is when they do drop the ball. What other teams apart from the French do you think can actually win the Champions Cup? Says Kahu, that one. It's a brilliant kick. It could be a 50-22. I think they're going to rule it as one. There was one earlier on for Munster that looked like it was maybe just outside. I think this one's going to be ruled as just inside. No, in fact, just outside as well. So Munster will have themselves the line out from 23 out from their own line. If a player gets a yellow with 5 minutes to go, gets upgraded to a red, does the suspension carry over to the next match? Says Darren, no. But if you get a red card, you're probably suspended anyway, I would think. Now thrown to the back there for Barron. Taking on the chest of Alex Kendallin. Oh, ball's loose again, although jumping on that could have been a penalty in favour of Munster as that ball wasn't quite free of the breakdown. Now loose. Little chip in behind, managing to grab it nicely, getting driven towards his own goal line. Only a couple metres out for Munster. Huge pressure coming from the Bulls here. Now, into the pocket. Crowley manages to clear the lines, but the Bulls right there again. Trying to get that still. Hamish, you're doing great work there. Says Ruth. 30 seconds left in this first half. Bulls hit. Says Jason Papola with the nice chip in behind. And it was Harold Foster was chasing after it. Almost managed to hold him up. O'Brien did brilliantly to work his way to the touch or work his way to the turf. The huddle here for the Bulls. Johan Krobela waiting for the call. And I've got it now. Now nicely taken by Elric Lowe's, asking for a penalty there. It's the halftime siren. This one not moving forward for the Bulls as of yet. Ambros Papier is going to have to use it. Going to the right-hand side. Harold Foster tackled on the 22, wrestled down by Crowley. And a bit of a counter ruck as well. Elric Lowe. Good commentary, better than a lot of other channels. Good work, says Benedict. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciated. We've got plenty more coming up in the near future as well. That Stormers versus Edinburgh game will be quite the intriguing one around the corner. So the Stormers try and work their way back towards close to that number one spot. Ball is still on the side of the Bulls though. 30 seconds past. Oh, that was a hard collision. We heard the ugh coming through the referee's mic. Now, Harold Stennekamp, that looks like a player down for Munster. Ball is stripped by the Munstermen. Are they going to go for the touchline or are they going to continue playing? It looks like they want to run this one up the middle now. Offload out the back. Risky play here. Craig Casey dragged down by his jersey. Stedman Hans tries to get on the ball. Is he on it? No, he's told to let go of it now. Right, Munster now go back into the pocket. They kick this one out. And it's going to be a half-time in this contest. 14 points to 7 in what was a very physical first half of rugby between the two sides. But the Bulls, even with the man disadvantage near the end of the half, have gone into the half-time break. 14 points to 7 up. Looks like still a little bit of ice going on to that shoulder of Kane Moody. And also we have got hot chips and garlic panini, says Ruth. And close game, says I Lollipop. Yeah, Munster, they would have been happy to be the first side on the board, but they will be a bit frustrated that that was the only time that they were able to get the points. Kane Moody looks injured. Good for Glasgow. Says Kahu. It'll be a very intriguing game. I think that one we are going to be covering from a random garage on the channel next week. I am going away for the weekend, seeing as we have got family from Australia over. But in that, it will be a bit of a makeshift setup, so I'll probably have to bring a couple lights. Hopefully it all runs relatively smoothly. Charles too far to send it. Over delivery, says Ruth. Yeah, first half, eventful. Probably the way to describe it. There were a few handling errors along the way for both of the teams. Maybe a few more than they would have liked. But I would also say that it could have probably been slightly higher scoring with the amount of attacking chances. There were a few awkward bounces of the ball by both of the teams, which probably stopped the chances from coming thick and fast, but still plenty more taking place in the near future for these two sides. The Bulls next week up against the Glasgow Warriors in the Champions Cup round of 16 for Munster. They have still got more matches to come this month too. Next month, as their game is up against Exeter Chiefs in the Challenge Cup. I'll eat it for you and enjoy, says Ruth. Apart from the French, who else do you think can win the Champions Cup? There are plenty of sides, even in like a Premiership side, I wouldn't completely rule out of the equation. A few handy enough sides around in the comp, but that's the fun part, isn't it? The head-to-heads that we get to see for the Champions Cup round of 16. There's actually, I would say, like those two Prem derbies will be great. There are a couple French derbies as well, aren't there? Or has it worked out? No, actually only France versus other competitions. You know, Bordeaux, Leinster, side that you can't really look past. And also do some food DNA test and give it to me. I will order some more. Says Charles. They are just showing the highlights of the first half. We did see that try of Sean O'Brien. It was just a backline movement for Munster that led to the space on the outside. Watch Apollo 13. How do you get the clap in space? I haven't seen Apollo 13. As some of you know, I haven't seen a lot of movies, unfortunately. But, yeah, some great games of the Champions Cup. Northampton Castra will be the first one. Although at the same time as that, there is a Sharks versus Connacht game, which will be covered on the channel. For the Bulls, they were able to score twice. And Papier, some absolutely incredible individual brilliance from him. And then the second try was scored by the Bulls later on in the half for Kanan Moody. Stedman Hans, the man who started that move. We have got their Alien Chicks. If that's a movie title, I haven't seen it. But they've shown the highlights of the O'Brien try about 7 times in a row here. They haven't showed the Bulls tries as of yet, although now it looks like they're going to. It's actually from inside of the own half that Ambroise Papier started that move. I watched Kiwi Lads Movie Reviews or Kiwi Lads Cooking Channel. Yeah, see, Kiwi Lads Movies Review, I think, would annoy a lot of people. Because, personally, I'm terrible at reviewing things. As some of you will know from the rugby side. So, like, if I was to review a movie, I feel like I would miss every single, like, crucial moment and focus on something really random and not even relevant in said movie. They must have got it from someone before liftoff. Says, cool story. Kiwi Lads Cooking Channel could be quite fun, though, to be fair. Although I wouldn't guarantee that there'd be anything decent cooked. Being told to use it once for that Ambroise Papier breaking away line. He pretty much just carved the perfect attacking run through Munster, and I don't even think anyone touched him throughout that carry. That is the part of it that makes it so impressive. The fact that he was unscathed and untouched on that run. But this is the way that the table sat heading into today. There are, I believe it is 5 matches taking place, 4 throughout today. The next one is going to be Connacht versus Ospreys. Lions versus Dragons closely follows that game. The Stormers versus Edinburgh, and then also Zebra versus Ulster for their later fixture. But currently, if the Bulls were to win this game by the margin that they are winning, they would go up to 39 points and they would not go ahead of Munster. If they score themselves 2 tries throughout the second half, that will get them the bonus point. And if Munster don't receive a bonus point from this game at all, it would then actually put them above the Munstermen, although Munster currently, with the way that the table, or the way that the scoreline sits, would receive 1 bonus point on the standing, so they would actually move up to 40. So there's still quite a bit that can happen. For Munster, if they were able to win this game, they would actually progress right up to the top 4, although Ulster do have their game a bit later on. And it's going to be taking place. And it's up against Zebra, away from home. Currently just the 2 wins for the side in 16th. 2 wins for the Dragons as well. Normally, URC-wise, you want to be about that 50-60% win rate to be able to go through to the next stage, but it might even be that little bit higher with how some of these sides are sitting currently. So I like Connacht right there close. And in fact, if they win their game, they can actually progress right up to around that 5th place in the overall standings. And we have got there review the movie Bad Boy Bubby. Says it was from Jason Hamilton. I have never heard of that movie before. I don't know whether or not I should know it. It sounds like a very random one. We have their review, also Debbie Does Dallas. Our review Schindler's List. I actually had to review it for school. I had to watch it in about year, what was it? It would have been probably year 9 or so. I think I had to kind of go through it and review it and talk about it and what all of the kind of scenes in it meant and whatnot. But, yeah, it's definitely not the nicest watch. It's not a feel-good movie, is it? We have got there, do Gummo. Do you think URC is higher quality than Super 15, says Byron? I assume you're talking Super Rugby, right, with the 11 sides? Depends on the day and depends on the game. Some of the matches of the URC we've found extremely frustrating to watch. Other games of Super Rugby we have found extremely frustrating to watch. It just depends on who is playing as a whole. Gosh, well done, Hamish. Says, cool story in there as well. But yeah, I think you can get a great game in either competition, which is fantastic news. We see it there, that nice pass from Stedman Hans out to Moody in that scenario. And that is what gave the Bulls the lead in this contest. I just feel like this Bulls side, they are one big moment away from fully taking control of this game. But there is also a big moment that will have to happen in the second half. And that is the outcome of the yellow card for Rua Nokia. If it gets upgraded to a red, could be a very big moment in this game, as it would mean that they will have to play with less men on the field for a bit longer. I believe it is still 20-minute red cards in the URC. Playing a little bit of techno, I think that is, at the ground. This sucks. I'm working and my son is watching the game at Loftus. Says Cully Stein. Well, depending on the result, may depend on how much it either sucks or doesn't suck. Of course, for the Bulls fans in the stands, they would love nothing more than to see a good, solid victory from the Bulls, similar to what we saw in their last match up against Cardiff. I think they've just seen Coldplay as the big reveal of what they're going to be playing in the stands now, while waiting for the second half to get back underway. And it's not actually a mile away either. I think I'm going to go like that. And go like that as well. Looking through at the benches. Maka van Staden as that number 16. Still not going with that specialist replacement hooker, though Johan Krobler has been doing a very good job throughout the season when it comes to that department. Jan Hendrik Wessels as the 17, with Machunu as 18, Kobus Visa as the 19, and Cameron Honeycomb. Be curious to see how many minutes he gets throughout this matchup. Zach Berger at 21, Chiswell Euster 22, and David Creel is their number 23. They have gone with a 6-2 split in this game for Munster, with Gavin Coombs, John Hodden it, also John Ryan there, a Dogbo, Niles Scannell, just to mention a few. Luckily for them, they haven't had too many injuries, although we did see Calvin Nash go off for the HIA throughout that first half. I was supporting the South African team. Arvin Omashaki deep down. So here's Cully Stein. I would say second half of this one's probably less than the 5 minutes away from starting back up. The next game that has taken place, ladies and gentlemen, is kicking off in around an hour and a half's time. That will be the game between the Lions and the Dragons. And the whistle blows, says Jason Hamilton. Yeah, this second half. 2 tries needed for the Bulls to be able to get themselves the bonus point. 3 tries needed for Munster to be able to get a bonus point from this game for the tries department. If they're within 7, they will still receive a bonus point anyway. This is definitely, at this point in time, I would say the Bulls' game to lose. They've looked like the more dangerous side on attack. Both sides have had their fair share of handling errors, which I'm sure has been frustrating for not just the players, but also the coaches watching up top. Both sides back out on the field now. Looks like the crowd has actually got a little bit bigger as well in terms of the amount of people in the stands compared to earlier on. Johan Robela had some crucial moments in the first half, as did that man Ambros Papier. An incredible run. Oh, what's the stats per game? Says Martin. The stats per game or the stats for this game? I think you should do one UFC event, Amish. Says Byron. I was very close to doing the Hamza Chimaev versus Rekas Duplessis card. I'm really glad I didn't, because that like that main event was a bit of a lackluster one in some regards. But I also considered actually, I think it was Adesanya versus Dreykus du Plessis. That was the other one that we were heavily thinking about doing as well. Was Marcel Coetzee not in the Springbok squad? When he is ahead of Maka van Staden and Bulls pack in order. Says Liza, sometimes it just works out to the fact that obviously Rassi likes that versatility of Maka van Staden with the fact that he can play in the loose forward trio as well as a hooker. Bros Papier from inside of his 22 kicks that one into touch. And in the Gallagher Prem, a game started 1 minute ago. Score is 7-0 to Leicester Tigers, so they got off to a flyer then. In that case, who are they playing up against? They are up against Gloucester. Do a darts game. I feel like darts wouldn't be too bad to commentate because you can just kind of say what's happened. Now, short side, Craig Casey getting hung on to. Now, looping around was... that actually looked like the replacement 16. Yes, it is. Niall Scannell already has made his way on. Now, left-hand side. Passing across Crowley. Nice ball into the hands of the number 7, Kendallin. A Dogbo also out there on the field. Munster changes early, and it's going to lead to a great try-scoring opportunity only a couple metres out. Wide cut-out pass, and a bit of a juggle there, but the finish anyway. And the try is scored by Munster. Thomas Ahern right at the start of the half, and it looks like maybe an injury for one of the Bulls players too. Munster look very good, says Kahu. But Tom Ahern, his 13th try of his career, but they have come out with a hiss and a roar in the second half. I'm not sure what was said to them at halftime, but it has obviously fired them up. Dog Boo was there. They actually did well to stop Michael Alalatoa from going over the goal line. It was the low tackle from Johan Rubler. And then just the next pass out wide, and Bros Papier one-on-one with Ahern. Does unfortunately get run over. He is going to miss, says Haino. Only 10 seconds remaining on the shot clock. Tell you what, he's going to have to hurry here. 5 seconds remain. Crowley misses it away to the side. It's going to make the score now 14 points to 12. Last South Africa home loss. October 2025, Sharks lost to Ulster. Says cool story. So it's been about 4 months. In fact, a little bit longer than that. Since the last loss for a South African side in South Africa up against a non-South African team. This game right back to being pretty even now. Take from Tom Ahern, the man who just scored. And he says Martin Miles, some injuries for the Bulls considering they are full strength today. Maybe they're sending a second side to Scotland. Kahu goes, or that was from Kahu, I should say. Vili LaRue now goes downfield with the boot. Craig Casey waiting for it at the back. Would you call the bingo game a Vastu? Sure, why not? Although I don't know all the sayings. I know it's leagues 11. That's a knock on there from Andre Pollard. And now Munster have got themselves the scrum feed. You can see the frustration in the Bulls camp, or in the Bulls coaching box now. Sharks are not in their best season, says Cully Stain. Yeah, although they're still close enough that they have a chance of making the playoffs of the URC, but it also, I don't think, would be too surprising if they didn't. And the Bulls look pretty bad, says Kahu. Yeah, they haven't quite found their rhythm at the start of the second half. But a lot can change in a hurry. Now, Craig Casey. 36 minutes left on the clock. Oh, in front rows. Being told off there by Davison for collapsing. And remember, Glasgow beat the Bulls in the final in South Africa. Says Sean O'Farrell, they certainly did. South African sides, they've been in the final every single URC, haven't they? From what I can remember. Please, Bulls don't ruin a 5-month home run for South Africa. And also we've got there, they start slow. But usually gain momentum only in the second half of the season. Says Cully Stain. Now, another scrum for Casey. and his Munster men. And ball goes in. And off to the right. Nice step there from Alex Nankervel. Craig Casey clearing out. I believe there was Andre Pollard who was on the wrong side of the breakdown. That gets rid of him very quickly. Now going to the left-hand side. Crowley, this looks like a drop kick attempt here from Munster, and it misses away to the side. Be frustrated with that, Crowley. It was the chance to be able to get those extra 3. It will be now 22 dropout. It would be a huge upset if Munster wins, says Kahu. Sure, no need to remind us, says Haino. And Glasgow are a class team. Could be any team, any way on their day, says how's it. I do not rate Alatoa, says Sean. Taken there by Crowley. Side of his own half this time. That looked like maybe leaving a bit too early for Sean O'Brien. Could have been offside. Does knock it out of the hands of Billy LaRue. Claimed by Michael Milne with a bit of acceleration, the big Lucia prop. Munster have had all the momentum in the second half. They are now up against a 15-man Bulls, as it was just a yellow card for Ruan Nokia. Knock on. And now kick downfield from Ruan Vermaak. Then it's going to be advantage over. Foot race here. Picks it up and Bros Papier. Plenty of pace. No one's going to catch him. And another try for the very dangerous halfback. We have got the Waimaniti as a town in South Canterbury, or in Canterbury, New Zealand, and as the seat of Waimati District. So here's Jason, but what a finish from Ambros Papier. He's pretty much got himself the man of the match already with just his 2 carries and his 2 tries that he's been able to get for himself, but so quick off the mark. And it was really nicely done by Ruan Vermaak, who deserves the assist credit in that scenario. And it bounces up for him. Bros Papier manages to control it and still had enough acceleration to get away from absolutely everyone. A kick from Pollard goes over as well, making the score at 21 points to the 12. Okay, that's clearly off the ball is what we've just heard in the background from one of the Munster players. It doesn't seem like that's going to be checked though. Oh. Okay. Holly Davidson has just asked the TMO, have we cleared anything for off the ball? And they haven't kicked off just yet. So I think they can still go back and check it as long as it isn't a kickoff, but now it is, so that is pretty much ruled out. Something like yesterday's Sharks game, says Ethan Raj, and hopefully the game opens up now, says how's it? Nice take there from Elric Lowe. Trying to get the steal on the break down there for Munster, unable to do so. Now Andre Pollard. Kicks it high and cross spell, take there from Moody. Now Billy LaRue kicks downfield. This one will roll into touch for LaRue. Looks a little bit angry about it too for Billy. Waimiti is 45.7 k's south of Timaru, 20 k's north of the Waitaki River, and 47.5 k's north of Oamaru. So here's Jason. Line out throw here for Munster, 40 metres out from their own line. Just talking about the numbers at the moment in the line out. And time has now been turned off. There we go. An Irish accent is hard to understand at times. I think there was once again a conversation going on with Holly Davidson. No chance of the Bulls winning Scotstoun Stadium. Looks like a few changes are about to be made, including Cameron Honeycomb, not a mile away from making his way out onto the field. Being used for now as an impact player for the Bulls, maybe that is to save him for a starting spot. Good contest in the air, but penalised for the Bulls. Is ruled as illegal. Munster find themselves down by 9 at the moment. Let's go, Honeycomb. Says, how's it? I would say that they'll probably make that change of Cobus Visa soon as well. Jason just saying Waimedi's in the middle of New Zealand. Says Cully Stain. Ball's put into touch. Not quite the meterage that they would have been after there. Right, 1, 2, 3, and 7 are all making their way off. So that is Gerald Stinnekamp, Johan Robelaar, Francois Klopper, and then also Elric Lowe going to be taken off for Cameron Honeycomb. I would assume that Nassim Khan might move in that loose forward trio so that they can have Honeycomb as that number 8. But they also may not, I guess. Now, Craig Casey going across to the left-hand side. Winning against Munster is an achievement, right? I would say so. This Munster side have been very strong at times throughout the season. They have had a few inconsistencies. As Kaylee Bell from Waimedi, she certainly is. Going off to the left-hand side now, Alex Nankervel. Almost a steal in the breakdown, but another penalty goes the way of Munster. And a win against Munster is an achievement. Yeah. I think even if you beat them in South Africa, it's still, like, I would still consider it as a pretty big one. Okay, good. And then I'll pay attention, says Cool Story Dear. Although Jack Crowley now with the opportunity to kick this one towards the sideline once more. Going to be about 7 meters out, I should say. And goodies from the Cape Hamish says, good, welcome in. Moody just going off his feet. And actually going down first as well. 3 tries for the Bulls. They are 1 try away from a bonus point from this contest. Munster, if they score now, they will be back within 7. So that would be a bonus point of their own. That is the way that the game would stay. But now, looking for this rolling maul, big collision there. It's taken down early by the Bulls. I believe they've called it a legal sacking. Munster have to use this. I don't know if they know where that ball actually is. And it seems like the Bulls have been able to trap it here. I know it's available now for Craig Casey. Almost some great work from the Bulls, or it initially was great work, though, to be able to shut down that rolling maul pretty much as soon as it's set. Oh, that looked like an awkward landing there for Ruan Nokia. Kind of twisted his knee. Looks like Jean Klein apologising to him. Of course, those two men have been teammates in the past. I'm surprised you're not on the list of notable people from Waimedi. I'm not. I just got in from work. Can we win anything? Really bad week for sport here. Now Munster losing again. Think I'll give up on sports, says Dennis. It makes you feel better. They were expected to lose this game, Munster. But that probably doesn't make you feel better. Jean Klein goes over. In fact, it's Tom Ahern. And he gets his double in this contest. They have ruled him as not being held. They said he got back to his feet. It looked like it was a little bit of a crawling motion there, which I'm sure we will see checked by the TMO. Thomas Ahern gets himself the double here. Same as Ambros Papier. Right, we'll see the replay now. Oh no, we didn't get to see the replay of the full thing. Now, kick straight out in front of the posts. Are you allowed to pull on, Zach says Martin. Ask Jan Hendrik Vessels about that one. That kick has gone over from Munster, making the score now 21 points to the 19. So where can the Bulls end up today, says Cool Story Dear. So the Bulls, theoretically, if they were to receive 5 points from this game and stop Munster from getting a couple bonus points along the way, they can go as high as 6th. But if Munster get themselves the 2 bonus points from this game, then the Bulls would still be 7th. Right, it's going to be play on. Bulls back in possession of the ball now. Getting on to the ball straight away for Munster, and Jack Crowley wins the turnover. Glasgow is a second half team. Bulls has this half been weird, says Kahu. Well, this try is due to poor refereeing. Moody won that turnover fair and square, says Liza. Craig Casey really is letting Holly Davison know all the laws that he knows. Jack Crowley just checking the direction of the wind. He will try and get a few extra meters on this one. The last thing that they want is to miss touch. Currently 2 points separating these two sides. That one goes into touch from Crowley. He's read the wind perfectly there. And we have there, the Bulls is bringing on their replacements way too early. Be careful that the Bulls don't lose, says Hardis. And what is Munster pointing at? And Munster can beat the All Blacks. They can beat anyone. So here's Jason. 6-man line out now for Munster. They aren't back in this game as of yet, but they're working on it. Jeremy Luckman takes that ball at the front of the line out. So towards the sideline. Now a Dogbo. Already seen the yellow card for the Bulls in this game as well, so too many penalties against them could result in another one. Munster in that same boat. 25 minutes now remain. It's going to be Niall Scannell. Casey kicking behind from Crowley. 3 men chasing after him for Munster, but the bounce of the ball is good, or is it? It's going to be dropped in the end. So close to the chance for Munster to score and take the lead, but it is dropped in the final moment from Dan Kelly. The mistake from Moody at the back that almost led to Munster getting their chance. They didn't beat the All Blacks, they beat the Crusaders, says Kahu. Still got the scrum advantage for the knock-on. It looks like Papier going to feed this one back. And now scrum advantage is over as Pollard finds touch. They take it quickly here, Munster, trying to up the tempo up against a Bulls side that you would expect would be able to run them off their feet with the home field advantage. Now Thomas Aherney's really isolated. Maka van Staden. Oh, I thought he had that ball. Jeremy Luckman, he knocks it on, so now gives the ball to Maka van Staden. Nassim Carr breaking the line now, the big number 8, Cameron Honeycomb, hanging on to the possession offload to Foster, but it was too low. And now it's another knock-on, this time from the Bulls. It's knock-on central and Loftus at this point in time. Now Milne goes across to the left. Running down the wing, O'Brien. Big clean out. It's going to be the turnover for Ambros Papier. They missed the clean out there. About 1 man came through for Munster to be able to stop the first initial clear out. And then 2 more Bulls players, they did arrive as reinforcements. A penalty now in favour of the Bulls. Andre Pollard will kick this one towards the sideline, going for the banana kick, and it does go into touch around the halfway line. Still 23 minutes left in this game. It is a close one, 21-19. Ambros Papier taking a fin to the face, almost an elbow to the face, but he still hung on to be able to wrestle them down. And gets back up. Right, time is off now. Is that because of subs or is that because of a TMO check? Knee injury at the moment for one of the players. Okay, I would say in this scenario, with the fact that all of the players are getting drinks due to an injury, you're better off just calling that drinks break now. If you are the referee. Seeing as we're up to 23 minutes remaining, it's probably easier. That way you got the 3-minute cooling break. Couple changes being made for the sides as well. And just showing the mistake made by Dan Kelly. Had he been able to clean that one up and hang on to it, it would have been a try for sure down that end for Munster. And all-out pace pretty much happened from there. Nassim Carr, his day is done. Going to be making his way off the field. And that is going to be for Kobus Veesen now. So we'll see a bit of a reshuffle. I would say that Ruan Nokia will make his way into the number 7 jersey, I guess. And now line out throw. Maka van Staden going into Ruan Vermaak. Now passed across to Marcel Coetzee. They've got the Munster with the advantage, but they don't actually have it now. Cheswell Juster running up the field. He is quick. He is lightning fast, and he scores the try. I tell you what, Munster have to find a way of sorting out that issue. That's now the 3rd time that the Bulls have just carved up the middle with pure pace to be able to score against them. Because everything Bray is perfect. I truly enjoy your commentary, says Chris Grobler. Thank you very much. Chiswell Euster scores his 3rd try in his career. And again, it's just you can't teach pace. Going through that gap from there, Chiswell Euster, and just getting caught the wrong way, O'Brien at the back. You only have that split second to be able to make the decision, and he made the wrong one. And the Bulls now with a bonus point no matter what from this contest. Who do you think's going to win from here? Well, that try there for the Bulls definitely helps it sway in their direction. But 3 from 3 for Andre Pollard today. Looking to make it a 4th here. The kick does go over. Major commentary, Hamish, keep it up, says Charles. We have still got plenty more to come. We've got someone filling in for me on the Lions versus Dragons game around the corner, but I will be back for the Stormers versus Edinburgh game. Munster beat the All Blacks 12-0. 1978. You're welcome, expert, says Jason. And that is a good try. And if you were live, even in the working days, how many subs do you think you would have? Probably not that many. Because without like games of rugby on, I don't think people would have much of a reason to actually watch the streams. So it's probably about the same, to be fair. Unless you guys like watching like buildings being built or like concrete being poured. And I don't think that's as exciting as the rugby. Andre Pollard kicking for the touch line, bounces steeply and into touch. Currently leading by the 9 points here for the Bulls. Still just over the 20 minutes left. I would say next stoppage, we probably go into that 3-minute cooling break like we have seen in the earlier stages of the contest. Niall Scannell with the throw again, goes to the front to Luckman. Jack Crowley passes across there to Dan Kelly. Obstruction is the call. Now a chance for the Bulls to be able to add the additional 3 if Andre Pollard wants to go for it. I don't think you need to take too many risks if you're the Bulls now. You take the points when they're available. They've already got the bonus point. You wear a merchandise shirt where you sell shirts. Who is the person who sells your merchandise shirts? I know your shirt selling website. You have a merchandise shirt where you sell shirts. Who is the person who sells your merchandise shirts? I know your shirt selling website. Is that like a tongue twister or like a riddle or something? Or is it actually like a statement? We're now around the halfway line. Andre Pollard. Try and add the additional 3 points. Okay, they've said here the first attempt for anyone at a penalty in this case. Trying to just add those additional points when on offer. And Pollard slots it straight down the middle. Making the score now 31-19, and they will take that 3-minute cooling break now. I'll offer to stream the Fly Fishing Masters if you are wanting, Hamish. Says Jason, a correct decision, I think, says Hano. It probably is the right choice. At the end of the day, that now means that Munster have to score themselves 2 tries and also get one of those conversions over to then be in a position of drawing. So, you know, the next thing for the Bulls will just be take another 3 when it is on offer. Andre Pollard's not missing them. So 34-19 looks like a pretty handy score and probably enough of one to be able to close out the game. Do the losing teams still get 4 try bonus points? They certainly do, yes. So for Munster, they are sitting on 3 tries scored throughout this game. So if they were to get themselves 1 more, that would actually also bring them within 7. So they could walk away from this game with 2 bonus points, which would then keep them ahead of the Bulls in the overall standings. Now, just talking about the man of the match votes. Do they even need to run it for this contest? I feel like everyone's going in Bros Papier, aren't they? With the way that he's been able to run throughout this game, scoring 2 very impressive tries, just showing off that pure pace that he offers. I mean, a few other players have been handy enough throughout this game. Stedman Hans has had some good moments in the forward pack. We've seen quite a bit of the running of, well, even Ruan Vermaak, to be fair. He had that assist for the Ambros Papier try. Not acceptable. Bulls must crush, says Titanium. Yeah, of course, they, in an ideal world, wouldn't want Munster to receive any sort of bonus point. You do You have shirt website. It is something like Kiwi Lads Creative Spring. I think somewhere in there, but I haven't been on it in ages. Now Crowley. Ready to kick this one off. And Bulls are rubbish. Comes down to individual brilliance. Sees Titanium. Oh, what happened to it? It's probably still there. I don't promote it. Now there is a knock-on advantage against Munster. And just my opinion, says Titanium. Well, if you take away the line break from Ambros Papier, the kick in behind from Rowan Vermaak leading to the Papier try and the Cheswell used to try, you don't see a lot of what the Bulls used to do, which was that old school, just hit the ball up and eventually break down your opposition with the defence. But normally when they are scoring tries, it is because one guy is doing very nicely. I want to buy the shirt. Who will be the guy shipping it? I don't know. Tell them to stop scoring. I need my parlay to hit. How many do you need them to not score? Josh, I wish you were streaming the Olympics when that African guy was the swimming race, says Jason. They're playing a little bit of Backstreet Boys over the loudspeaker at Loftus. They've just decided to keep on playing it while the match is going on. I think either the DJ has fallen asleep or forgotten what his job is. One's going to be another scrum reset. Under 60, says Josh. Okay, this DJ really likes Backstreet Boys because he did turn it back up when the scrum reset has taken place. Now time is off. I hate the music, says Hano. And there's a huge amount of development happening in South Africa. Most of it driven by the private sector. Says a Vonberg. So under 60 points is a bit difficult, isn't it? Parlay. Is parlay 2 legs or is that more than 2? 50 points here, 17 minutes remaining. They definitely will have to slow down a little bit in terms of the scoring rate. Johan Krobelaar, Kurt Liarnse, and Bros Papier, the 3 men that they have got there as Bulls nominations for man of the match. But I think it's pretty self-explanatory who gets it from this game at the moment. Right, back underway, both front rows. Like they are ready to go. As literally my last league too. Last of how many, Josh? I'm really hoping you only say like 3. You don't say like 6 or 8 or something like that. Were they all rugby related or were they outside of rugby too? I believe it's Kiwi Rob selling his shirts. Now balls in of 5. Okay, that's quite a long one, isn't it? Cameron Hanekom, good fend there on John Horner, who eventually gets back in alongside Alex Nankvel, trying to turn it into a rolling maul. 3 rugby, 2 soccer, says Josh. Harold Foster, all around the halfway line. Ambros Papier offload, Marcel Kutsia. Andre Pollard, Kurt Liarnse tries to pass it on the outside, but it's knocked on there by Mako van Staren. And no balls winning. The buyer's ref given every 50-50 call to the visitors. Said Francois, which one would you say was the 50-50 that you feel's gone against them so far? They had a dominant scrum early on. They haven't really been able to get it going, though, since those subs made their way off the bench. However, their defence needs to lock. And I assume that's going to be from Josh, yep. 16 minutes remaining. Bonus point is already on the cards for the Bulls here. Now playing Zombie at the stadium. And I don't think the DJ is going to turn it off anytime soon, even though the scrum is about to take place. It's going to be a reset. Now that is a good song. A buy over the game, says Hano. I think it just comes down to the fact the DJ wants the crowd involved in this one perhaps. But yeah, weird timing. Like even in scrum resets, it seems like a weird time to play music. Just because normally it's happening pretty quickly after. Let's go D, says Josh. Only the live standings would have the Bulls move up to 6th place ahead of Munster. But if Munster score again, that would push them back above the Bulls. The overall standings, even with a loss here, if they're within 7, as well as getting that bonus point for 4 or more tries. Ball has come out the back of the Munster scrum. Now backline movement, Jack Crowley. Cheswell Euster was trying to chase after him. Now a great kick from Crowley, goes into touch. Won't quite be a 50-22. Bulls have broken my heart 5 years in a row. I'm now immune to emotional damage or emotional pain, says Brennan. And also, Hamish, do you have any colleagues? At work, I have one. Looks like a change is about to be made. Sebastian de Klerk to make his way on. 14 minutes left, says Josh. I think you have a part-time job on working days. I have a full-time job during the week. But occasionally I can kind of, I guess, change my hours enough that I'm still working the same amount of time, but just not in the early mornings on Monday. I have a productive day digging up potatoes. Says Jason. 7-man line out now. And it is actually the 50-22. It was just inside of their own half. That is going to be an advantage against Cameron Hanekom for going early. Alex Nankerville, 25 out. Craig Casey moving it on to the right. Crowley with the short ball to John Hodner. Bumps off too and tries to keep going towards the line. Now good hands again. Niall Scannell, working in University of Christchurch or a hospital. Says Charles. Now off to the left. Luckman. Can't get the offload away. That advantage is still in play from that rolling maul. Now short ball from Crowley up the middle. Missed tackle from LaRue. That was poor defence. And Munster score right next to the post. They will receive not just one, but potentially 2 bonus points from this game. If not, maybe the full 5 if they can still mount that comeback. Will you be streaming finals tonight between Pakistan and Botswana's women paddle game? I will not be, no, unfortunately. As much as we would have loved to, we're busy at that time, even though you didn't say when it is. Our Bulls have hands like tits. Can't catch the ball, says Zolani. Casey has been carrying this dead team, says Charles. This one straight out in front of the post for the conversion attempt. They're currently down by 7, but if Crowley can convert, it will mean that they are only down by 5. And it has gone over 31-26. This is more the type of scoreline we expected to see from Munster compared to that game last week. 45-0 up against the Sharks, but this one has been competitive. And still plenty of time remaining on the clock for either of these sides to secure the win. Now it's kicked off high into the 22. Nice take from Alex Nankerville. Trying to charge up the middle, just outside of the 22, so won't be able to kick this one out on the full for Craig Casey. Munster told to use it, but the call is taken back. Going up high with this boot. Coming down, Cheswell Euster knocks the ball on. Ball is back on the side of Munster. Craig Casey again, kicking it downfield off his left boot. Looking for the 50-22. Ball goes into touch. Munster take control. We got a defence, says Josh. I watch IPL for now. Thank you so much for this amazing live commentary. I see you in a couple hours. Keep it on your consistency and bye, mate, says Charles. So we will see you later on. Of course, we have got another one just around the corner, taking place between the Lions and the Dragons. We have got Haino filling in for us on that string. And then I am back for Stormers versus Edinburgh, happening in only around 3 hours' time. And the Bulls hit, says Jason. Man of the match at the moment, 85.6% have voted for Ambros Papier. So I think that's pretty conclusive at this point in time, but he would much rather be on the winning side than the losing side for this match. Thrown in over the top. It's a mistake made at line-out time. It was knocked on by Munster. The Bulls take the ball. Penalty. Oh, I don't know about that. Penalty to Munster here. That's a big call after they had just knocked it on what looked like right in front of the touch judge and referee. Munster going to steal it, says Brick. And also Munster can pull this off. Huge upset if they do. He was off his feet. No, I was more looking at that knock on from the get-go. Crowley kicks it into touch 5 metres out from the line. I'd like to see a replay of that one, but I don't know if we're going to get one. Oh, okay. So Davison has just said there to Rua Nokia, if anything, it was knocked on by you. Saying that the Bulls were the team that knocked that one on. Oh, utter confusion there at line-out time. What's happened now? Okay. Open the gap at the front is the call. Munster have been told to get in and set. They're taking a bit long. They've been told to get in. If they don't get in for this line out, that should just be a free kick against them for how long it has taken them. We're going to the front there to a dog bow. Rolling maul now. For Munster, they are close to the sideline. I think they have to use this now. The closer that they get to that touchline, the more dangerous that the Bulls become and can force them into touch. Craig Casey, I should say. I'm back across. Marcel Kurtzia gets the turnover penalty for the Bulls. Was locked over the ball. Honeycomb has sent Craig Casey flying. And Marcel, come on, says Aino. Currently 9.5 minutes remaining in this contest. Very close between these teams. And we have got there right. I made it back home. And massive turnover, says Aino. Absolutely huge from Marcel Kurtzia. And time need to hurry up, says Josh. Yeah, for yourself, they can't score again at all, can they? Because currently we have had 47 points in this game. 57, and you needed under 60, right? A line out on the halfway line. Hurry time, says Josh. Munster at the moment, no matter what from this game, they will receive 1 bonus point. What does Broz need to do to get a nod from Rasi? The Box have too many 9, says Robert. I mean, they do have plenty of options, but phenomenal from Mbroz Papier throughout this year of the URC. And eventually I'd like to see him get rewarded for what he is able to do. They will go back for the penalty now. 17 in through the side, so that is against Jeremy Luckman. Bulls are imploding. Says Jason. It's not over yet, though. I need us to score a try and not convert, says Haino. I assume that's for your Super Brew prediction. I would think that you just want as many points as possible. They've decided to go for the 3 here, the Bulls. I mentioned about it earlier on that it was something that they needed to get that lead of 15. Now, if this conversion from Pollard goes over, it would give them the lead of 8, which at this stage of the contest is extremely handy, not just for the fact that they would be able to shut down that bonus point. How many minutes, says Josh? There are still about 8 minutes remaining. Was it that it had to be 60 or under? Or was it that it couldn't be 60? Because if Pollard kicks this over, that's 60 points in this game. He's a man to match for you. I've missed most of it. And Mbroz Papier by a massive margin. Now, Andre Pollard, 15 in from the sideline. About 45 out on the angle. Pollard strikes nicely. And he strikes effectively through the middle of the post. Making the score 34 points to 26. Well, they've said he knows this field very well. 60.5 under. Okay, so currently you're still all right. But no other points can be scored. I'm watching Gloucester versus Leicester Tigers. Says, your videos, has Gloucester come back into that game yet? I know that they conceded very early in that match. See Zach Berger now making his way onto the field. And Mbroz Papier will get a big cheer from the crowd for what he's been able to do throughout this game. It's very much so stepped up. Oh, drop ball from Cobus Vesa. Just out from the own goal line of the Bulls. There was a miscommunication there between Vesa and what looked like it was, I want to say Zach Berger. Yeah, for women's ref, Ollie having a good game. Says Robert there, I need Bulls to score minimum 36 points. Says Maricela. They are extremely close to that. Do you think the Canes would fare, or how do you think the Canes would fare in this competition? Probably go all right, to be fair. They've been in some pretty handy form. Of course, they do better playing at home than travelling all the way over here to be able to play their game. About 12 metres out from the try line here, Munster with another attack. Zach needs to shave off whatever that haircut is. Says Ano, yeah, he's going for the mullet at this stage. What's that, Berger? It does flow in the wind. And Carter Gordon is son of Dan Carter. Says shot videos, ball is fed in. Big push at scrum time from the Bulls. But 5 metres out from the line, Alex Kendallin. Can they get over again here for this Munster team? A dog bow. Dragged down just short. Now left-hand side. Still moving it on. Rush defence from Billy LaRue to be able to shut them down. Now wide cut out pass, chance down the wing, cutting back inwards, close to the sideline. O'Brien wrestled over the sideline almost, but just staying in the field of play. 3 metres out from the line, Craig Casey goes back again. That's over the line and the try is scored by, it's not Gavin Coombs, it's actually a replacement in the number 20 jersey. Great work, Billy, says Aino. Dogbo is the man they've given credit for the try. And it seems like they might check this. Okay, they have a singular placement of the ball, but this one will be checked, and it's going to be a big moment in this game with 5 minutes remaining on the clock. We see it there. So you're allowed one movement to place the ball. No problem whatsoever there by the looks of it. And Agent Carter is a Marvel character, says Jason. Oh. Okay, so this sounds like they're now checking for a neck roll that happened in a breakdown a while ago, with the chance of potentially disallowing this try too. So I would say the chance of this try actually being awarded is pretty slim for Munster in the scenario. Okay. The try is good. They have found no successful neck roll there from John Hodnett. Tried to pull Maka van Staden to the side and then eventually let him go. But that is going to make the score 34-31 with a kick to come here for Crowley. This is a crucial one to get over too, because this then turns a game from looking like it could be a draw to looking like a win. The 5th try for Munster in this game. Crowley eyeing up the post. What a game, says Kahu. Yeah, it's been an absolutely phenomenal one. He grabs around the neck but fails to do the neck roll, says Haino. And like they're saying, by the time they get back underway, just under 4 minutes left. Crowley hits the post and bounces out. So Munster are going to need a try if they want to go on and win this game. At least they could also look at a draw, but Crowley's kicking to let them down at times throughout this one. But 6. In fact, no, there's even more than that. Probably 7 points going to be awarded between these two sides throughout this contest. Take from Craig Casey inside of the 22. Clears it into touch. Bulls 34-31. Says Joshua Millett. And also we have got there, come on the Bulls, says Haino. And it's going to be quite the tight finish between these two teams. One more try, Bulls, says Haino. Of course, with one more try, that would cancel out the bonus point of Munster or go for the 3. 5-man is the call currently with the way that the scoreline sits. It would mean that Munster keep their spot in 6th. The Bulls would be 7th. Mako van Staden throws it in. Claimed by Ruan Nokia. Again, the rolling maul going to be attempted here. A Dogbo went through the middle. Manages to tie that ball up. He can hang on to it. And does just that. Scrum beat now for Munster. Look at that sexy throw in by Marco. And come on, Munster, says Hori. Now, what's our next game? Next game will be Dragons versus Lions. Now, we have got Haino filling in for us on that stream. But the next one that I am doing will be after that, and that is going to be Stormers versus Edinburgh. A little bit of push and shove here between the two sides at the moment. Maka van Staden very frustrated with what has happened there. Why is he pushing us? I just heard in a South African accent. Get a scrum penalty, says Haino. Northampton versus Saracens are going to be a sold-out Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. But now 2 minutes remaining. My big question, ladies and gentlemen, if you're straight out in front of the post in your Munster, would you take the 3 for a draw here? Or would you go for the win? Do let me know. If it comes down to it, of course, we're still a little way away from that. We are seeing Munster inside of their own half. But if you were Munster, you currently sit just a little bit higher than the Bulls on the table. Do you go for the draw or do you go for the win? What do you do? Bulls are imploding, says Jason. Now scrum feed there. Ball goes in from Casey. And that one's going to be claimed by Munster. I'll take the 3 if it's out in front. Says Sean O'Farrell. Now backline. Oh, drop ball there from Munster. How's that not a knock on? How is that not a knock on? That looked like it did go forward. But it is going to be play on now. Draw, says Chris. Go for the draw, says Cully Stain. The call there from, it was Craig Casey. He did not look happy with his kicker, and he didn't sound happy with it either. Billy LaRue going for what was a 50-22 there for the Bulls. Brilliant kick from the veteran. And he is telling his whole team to settle down here. And yep, he is getting his hands down. He's telling everyone settle. And gave a little sign to the camera too. Can the Bulls please sort out their defence? Come on, the Bulls. And Billy, you beauty, says hey no. But yeah, it's a brilliant kick from Billy LaRue. You can see why they were a bit frustrated with that opportunity for Munster. I'll take over stream so you can sleep, Hamish. We have got Haino coming in to take over for the Lions versus Dragons 1. No, this Bulls team is not championship material, says Anthony. Although they have got a chance of being able to walk away with a victory here. The front man is on the edge of the tee. 10 seconds remaining. Right, we talked about the scenario for Munster. If you are the Bulls in this scenario, do you go for one more try when you're leading by the 3 points to try and take away the opposition bonus point? Or do you just boot this ball into touch and accept a win? It looks like Zach Berger, he's searching for this ball. It's stuck in there at the moment. They just push it over the sideline. They will take the win, and that is the end of the game. 34 points to 31. Now, with this result, the Bulls do win. They receive the 5 points. Munster get themselves 2 points from this game. So they will still be above the Bulls on the overall standings. What has been an eventful 80 minutes at Loftus for this game. It's been competitive. Crowley and Cobus Visa having a bit of a conversation. I hope that was relatively friendly. And we have got there, I take the win, says Haino. And 3 weeks till Hollywood Hulk Hogan rips it up, says Damo there. And also we have got there, congrats, says Roof there to the Bulls side. But Ambrose Papier, he will receive man of the match, well deserved in this contest. He was absolutely everywhere in crucial moments for this Bulls side. They do get themselves the victory. They move up that little bit more on the overall standings. But nonetheless, next game is Lions in their contest up against the Dragons. That will be starting in around 30 minutes or so time. We have got Haino, who is in the chat, who will be a lot happier now, I will mention, because he is a Bulls man. So because they've managed to get the victory there, I feel like the mood will well and truly be lifted on that next one. But he is going to be filling in on that stream for myself. And then I am going to be back for Stormers versus Edinburgh, which has taken place in around 3 hours' time. But thank you all very much for watching. If you did enjoy, of course, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And I will see you all for the next one.